All right, folks, you know the drill. This is the 20-second lead in. Because of the delay, it gives you guys an opportunity to catch some ads as well as grab a refreshing drink and some popcorn and cold snack and join us for the Car Guy and Six Fan Show powered by the Get Out and Drive podcast. This is our season 7 finale. And if you don't know who we are, my name is Jason. I am the car guy of the Car Guy and Six Fan Show, and my partner over here to my whatever it is
that makes me Six Fan of this operation. I'm straight Six Fan on YouTube, Grant in real life. But yeah, doing this backwards thing, I guess I'll send it back to you whatever direction I'm really pointing.
Well, that was the direction I got it the first time, and it's just kind of the opposite of whatever you think it is because the cameras are backwards. But we're going to jump into the chat right quick because we've got a bunch of people over here who have joined us early. Of course, we've got Ryan from Everything is Broken Garage. Thanks, Ryan, for being here. We've got Uncle Squirrel. Thanks, John. Drew from Hobbins Hot Rods. We've also got Will's Wheels I saw in there, Turlo's Garage. And I saw somebody jump in there. 815 LSX Customs. Guys, now is the time to make sure that if you're not following him, that you head over to his YouTube channel, trying to make that 1,000 subscriber goal. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that later on tonight. Spider Garage, JMR Builders, welcome. And I can only assume it's Ryan because I can almost hear him typing from here. We've also got... I think we got everybody so far. So there's lots of people jumping in here, and make sure that you're hitting the thumbs up button as you come in the door, as well as sharing this out because it's our award show and we're going to have some fun tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a mixed bag of things. Of course, the award show, that's kind of a tradition we started, I don't know, maybe season 3 and have kind of carried it on since. But we try to just have fun with it, make up these stupidly named awards. But just to recount the fun that we've had over the season, and season 7, nonetheless, was another fun season. But we want to go back to our roots. We want to give a couple channel shout outs tonight, and we want to give away some merchandise as well. So, Jason, did I miss anything of the because we have a very detailed show agenda every time. Did I miss anything?
Very structured, very detailed. If we forgot something, guys, we'll get it at some point in time. You guys have been around this show long enough to know exactly how things go. And if you are a first time into the Car Guy and Six Fan Show, you're watching this live or you're watching it afterwards in the replay, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below to my channel, Old Car Guy. But also, don't forget, this is a collaborative effort. Grant and I share the responsibilities when we do the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. Last week, it was on his channel, and his link is in the description box down below. So make sure you head on over to his channel as well and do the subscription thing over there. He's got a brand new project of a GMG body. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on in this show. But for now, Grant, I think we probably should jump right into our award show because we've got lots to talk about tonight. This is the season finale. We've got awards to give away. We've got future episodes to talk about. And we've also got, I want to talk a little bit about reserving some time for your interview on the Get Out and Drive podcast.
Okay.
Again, we'll talk about that. And keep in mind, guys, that this show is powered by the Get Out and Drive podcast. You don't know what that is? Head on over to your favorite podcaster, look up Get Out, the letter N, Drive, and you'll listen to myself and John, Custom Car Nerd Meyer. We host or co-host the can't even talk tonight. Another beer, thanks.
So well, if we burn through the agenda, Jason, it also we'll give the chat a moment to give us ideas, or I want to talk a little bit about season 8, what we think we're going to do for season 8 as well, if we have time. But yeah, hopefully that drink of water helped you conclude your thoughts. And
absolutely. So we've got lots of things to cover tonight. We're going to jump right into it, and we're going to start off with our season 7 award show. And as you know, what we do is we take each guest that we had throughout the season, and we kind of just talk a little bit about them, but we give them a fictitious, funny award that kind of dictates a little bit or describes a little bit about the experience that we had with them. And the first guest that we had in season 7 was on my channel, back in January, and that was 802 Garage. And if you don't remember that, 802 Garage is stuffing a V10 Dodge truck engine into a Subaru. Yeah. So what we're doing is we are giving him the Running on All 10 Cylinders award for that glorious effort of trying to stuff a big engine, a modern engine, into such a small car. And he's making it work, and I think he's even had it running.
Yeah, I haven't checked back in with him in the status of the build since then. But as you mentioned, I remember the conversation kind of going like, it was why? Right? Why a V10? And he's like, why not? It was, that V10 came from a Dodge truck, and it was available, it was there, and he just kind of said, why not? And I really appreciate that mindset. Of course, we like weird stuff here on the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. So, congratulations to 802 Garage for the Running on All 10 Cylinders award.
And Grant, who is the next award recipient?
Yeah, so the following week we had another. We'll call it. I'll just get straight to the award, I guess. We're giving out the Frankenstein Award to AK Strim for his Rat Rod S10, which is being pieced together from just about anything he could possibly find, from an oil drum to an Afghan for upholstering the seats. I believe he's got C5 Corvette suspension in the rear, but he also has a turbocharged boat motor. It's the 3-liter version of the Iron Duke. The Iron Duke, of course, I think is 2.5 liter, but this 3-liter, same geometry of that, but a little bigger displacement. But it came out of a boat. So the Frankenstein Award goes to AK Strim.
Yeah, and on that note, so a couple things to note about AK Strim is his name is Alex, and Alex is from Canada. And he is also kind of a big thing over on TikTok. Him and 802 Garage kind of joined that kind of community of TikTok and made themselves absolutely huge. Several 100,000 followers over on TikTok. Make sure you head on over to TikTok, follow those guys, because they've got some pretty interesting content. And I just want to make note also that King Eric, the greatest of all, has joined the chat, as well as Gary Mathis. I saw Nivlak57 in there. We've got Andrew Nelson. Melissa Nunya has also joined in as a moderator. Thanks, Melissa, for being here tonight. The next recipient for the Car Guy and Six Fan Show Season 7 Award for, let's see here, Dragging My Wagon Award goes to Patina Pit Stop. And if you guys don't follow Patina Pit Stop, you'll know, you may not know that he drives a big lead sled style station wagon, and he races it. So he's trying to prep that thing to get it to go fast. And so that's why Patina Casey is getting the Dragon My Wagon Award.
Yeah, I want to say it's a 67 or 68. I think it's that body style, but the Malibu, so the Chevelle front clip. But it's a glorious, it's the perfect green, right, for a patina car, and period correct for the 60s, of course. But it's like, I guess we'll get into it probably later, but I have this weird thing for beige cars. It's a much better color than the cars I end up with. So if you haven't checked out Casey over at Patina Pit Stop, highly recommend it. And that does take us to our next contestant, or our next recipient, award winner. It is Nivlak57 in the chat earlier. I wanted to give him the bigger six fan than straight six fan award. So if there is a guy out there who has an affinity for inline sixes on YouTube, who didn't figure out the cool way to make a name like this, I'm telling you, your guy is Calvin over at Nivlak57 in his Atlas motor builds, the 4200 Vortec. So go check him out if you want to find basically the leader in 4200 technology and getting the most power per cubic inch out of those motors. He is your guy. So go check out Nivlak57.
And he is in the process right now of rebuilding one of those that he may or may not have blew up. So there's lots of great stuff going on over there with an engineering background. There's a lot of custom parts involved in making these things work. So make sure you head on over and check out his YouTube channel. Some really great stuff. Seeing some power, some big power come out of these inline sixes over there on his channel. The next award kind of is not really an award, more of an honorable mention. We did have lined up this year Craig from Flying Wheels, and Flying Wheels is a YouTube channel that has grown significantly over the last couple of years. He's a used car dealer in New Hampshire, and he was supposed to be a guest, and well, things just didn't line up, and we had to move some things around, and at the end of the day, just couldn't make it happen. But Craig over at Flying Wheels does get the honorable mention award.
And while we kind of pause there, it's a really good play on words. It's a great pun. It's an honorable mention for someone who never actually showed up to one of our shows. I did want to give a mention to our partnership, of course, with Get Out and Drive podcast. Mr. Carnerd himself just got done telling the chat he basically shared our link everywhere. So just wanted to pause, take a moment, and say, if you enjoy the Car Guy and Six Fan Show, if you're currently in the chat, take a second, hit that share button, go blast it out on any of your social media platforms, whichever one you're most comfortable with. We would really appreciate that, because the way this show is the most fun is with more people in the chat. So if you don't mind taking a second, we'll give you guys that pause, that second, to go ahead and do that. And that'll lead us into our next recipient. And it's actually, we're going to hand out 2 awards for one appearance, and that's because JMR Rebuilders.
So you're skipping. You're skipping.
I'm skipping.
Getting ahead of the game.
I am skipping. Yep, of course. Yeah. Hey, I'll let the cat out of the bag. But
let's carry on. Carry on with that. We can go back. You're on a roll.
Well, shoot. Now my mind is, I really want to go back, but fine, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll skip out of order. Noobs here, at least this guy. And so because there are 2 individuals on the channel, we wanted to start off by giving Ryan the Can You Hear Me Now award, because of his volume issues that he seems to struggle with.
Yeah, so for those of you who watched that episode, you'll know that if you're a headset wearer, you're probably your eardrums are probably still bleeding. We had some fun. There was some excitement, and look, we had a blast having those guys on the channel. But Ryan is only half of that channel. The other half of that channel, his name coincidentally is Jason, and just for being Ryan's partner on that channel, Jason is going to be receiving the Patience of Job award for putting up with the antics of Ryan and being a part of that channel. They've got some great things happening over there. They've got the trifecta. It's a OBS Ford. I think it's a 95 Ford pickup. It's got a Coyote motor with a Crown Vic swap in the front, and all kinds of goodies that they are doing over on that channel with that F-150.
Yeah, I think it might be a 96. Since my high school truck was a 95, I think I would have remembered exactly that it was a 95, but whatever, 92 to 96, that Aeronos Ford never really changed. So I guess I'll go back and get back on script, Jason, just because that's what you want. And
I do.
The award I should have been given out the last go around goes to Mike Davenport. And or Chevy guy, I believe is what he goes
Chevy
by.
dude.
The Chevy dude. Sorry. Yep. Not in my notes, and I don't remember it exactly. But Entrepreneur of the Year, and what his whole shtick, his tagline was, "Buying a car shouldn't suck." And I really enjoyed the conversation with him. It's funny because there was a coworker of mine who was talking about, I got to go buy another car. I'm not really looking forward to it. And so I was like, funny you say that. Let me direct you to the live stream we did like 2 weeks ago, and it really helped him out. So congratulations to Mike Davenport for Entrepreneur of the Year. And thanks for all the advice for all of us prospective car buyers.
Yeah, and the reason why we're giving him the Entrepreneur of the Year award is because he left a 20-year career in the car business, working at a big Chevy dealer, to kind of go out on his own and become a used car dealer and take everything that he learned with him and apply it to the used car market as a self-employed businessman with his wife. And if you guys don't know, I am a used car salesman as well. And, we've been doing this now for almost 14 years. And it's been a challenge getting through, COVID and all this stuff. And to start a used car dealership in the middle of all that, well, hats off to Mike for doing that. I did want to make notice that Chef Shade Tree has joined us for the first time, thank you so much. I hope that you have hit that like button. I hope that you've subscribed to my channel, and in the comments, or sorry, in the description down below is also Grant's channel, who is this guy over here. Make sure you're heading over there and subscribe to him as well. Thank you for joining us on the Car Guy Six Fan Show.
Jason, I did just also want to make notice of Fox Can Fix It's comment. Normally, like the new StreamYard lets co-hosts highlight comments and things, but I must have not logged in the right way tonight on the work laptop, so I don't have the. Yes, that's the one. So I appreciate Fox saying I call the bilateral symmetry award if nobody else wants it, so we'll give it to him. That was the catchphrase that JMR Rebuilders threw out there, talking about how on that era Ford truck, the chassis is not exactly symmetrical on each rail. So I'm guessing it's the I-beam suspension that really plays into that and makes it that way. But honestly, I don't really know.
I think that probably is what it is, and those front portions of the frame horn, you've got those I-beams mounted in two different settings. I'm sure that's exactly why they did that way. Henry Ascat, thank you so much for joining the live stream tonight. We're going to jump right into the next award, and that is going out to a YouTube channel called Second Stage, and I've coined it the I don't have an accent. You have an accent award, because he's joined us from down under, and all the way from Adelaide, I believe, and that's where we interviewed him from. It was Friday morning for him, Thursday night for us. He was coming to us from the future, but he's got a great background in some fabrication, working on what they call a Toyota 86, which is a rear-wheel drive based platform, I believe, and having lots of fun working on those cars and fabricating. Again, a big TikTok celebrity, big following over there. So congratulations to Second Stage for the I don't have an accent, you have an accent award.
Well, I think it's funny, Jason, that obviously probably the majority of our guests come from America, and then Canada's the second, but Australia's bronze medal winner here. So we've had more than one Australian guest, and so we love our Aussie mates, and we appreciate him dialing in from a day ahead, a hemisphere away, and from Adelaide. So with that, the next award goes to, we are going to head on over to Indiana and hand out an award to Spider Garage, who gets the Family Values Award. And of course, if you don't know anything, Joe JMR, I'm sorry. All right.
Oh,
sorry. But if you've never caught the channel Spider Garage between Ken and his son, why am I Nathan? Whew, I was
Nathaniel.
blanking for a second. Yep, Nathaniel. It's been a father-son collaboration from this point, or from its inception all the way to this point. Nathaniel graduates from high school this year, so it's gonna make a little bit of a twist and a turn. But it's been fun watching the two of them work together, build that companionship, that relationship, and watch Nathaniel grow up over the years, building that Monza Spider. Jason, what else did I miss there?
Well, I just think the whole dynamic of the father-son, this channel's been around for, I think, 3 years or better now, since before Nathaniel could even drive. And just the family dynamic of the two of them, the teaching, the learning, the friendships that came along with a bunch of different people showing up to help work on this car, Miles the Spider. And I just, the editing, the production quality has gone through the roof over the last couple of years, and we can really appreciate a good video that you can sit back and you can not just enjoy the content, but the production and the delivery of that content. And I think that's what you get when you head over to Spider Garage.
And if you really rewind back to a year ago when we did Solo B-Roll Challenge 2021, Ken, I believe, was sort of our runner-up, if you will, on that challenge. So if you've never watched, if you want to get some insight into what Spider Garage is all about, and you only want to spend 90 seconds, I highly recommend you go to his channel and then you search #Solo B-Roll 2021.
And Ken giving us the old Elvis thank you very much. We appreciate you too, Ken. Thank you for being a part of our community as well. We're going to jump down to part of the community, the automotive community that we belong to. Doesn't necessarily have a name. It's just a great group of people. We seem to follow each other in the same circles, and that is Stuff with Cletus. And Stuff with Cletus was on back in March, and we had a great time. He was able to sub in when we had a few dates to be shuffled around there. And Cletus, his name is Curtis, so I keep wanting to call him Cletus, but nevertheless, he's going to get the Hold My Beer Award for being able to work with a bunch of other channels and collaborate, stuffing an LS engine into a Volvo. So if you guys haven't caught that, there's other collaborators that worked with that, but it's spearheaded with Cletus and kind of developed into a great series of videos to see this LS engine being put into this Volvo. So Curtis, thank you very much for being a guest on our show, and congratulations on the Hold My Beer Award.
Yeah, and I did just want to say, like, their approach to the community build, the group build, I think there were a minimum 5 channels actively involved on the build, and maybe 1 or 2 channels showed up, midstream. I don't recall. I think it was 4 days, maybe, Jason. I don't exactly recall the
I think it was like a weekend into a 3 or 4 day week type of thing, but nevertheless, they did it in a very short period of time. It was a great build. I really enjoy it.
One of the things I really applaud them is so they built like a wish list of parts, like, and they're really well thought out, all the way down to I think I purchased like brake lights for them or something, bulbs, but on Amazon, and it's just like, oh well, that makes sense. Like, just create like this registry, so it was really helpful for them. And I just think, as you're a aspiring YouTuber who wants to get paid for doing what you do, think about creative ways and things like that. I just really thought it was a good execution on their end.
Absolutely. So that moves us on to the next award. We seem to be off kilter here a little bit, are we, as far as back and forth? But nevertheless, take over the next award.
Yeah. So Hammer Down Motorsports joined us next after Stuff with Cletus and after our Legacy episode, and we're handing out to him the Maple Syrup Bald Eagles Award. So that's to pay homage to the fact that he grew up in Canada but now lives in the States, and so he was able to. It's weird, he could communicate with both Jason and I, and we both understood him. So it was like a translator almost.
Absolutely. And for those of you who didn't understand what Grant was saying, in Canada we call it homage. Anyways, I have to throw in a controversial
Z maybe
ZZ whatever American Canadian thing at Zinger there at Grant once in a while.
Yeah, I don't even know how to spell Putin. I don't even know. Yeah, see, I don't even know how to say it.
It's Putin, and if you're not from around here, they call it poutine, but it's not poutine, it's Putin. Anyway, thanks so much to Steve from Hammer Down Motorsports for joining us and enlightening us with some of the projects that he's been working on and his big new shop. As we move on to the next award, we had Robert from Aging Wheels. If you guys don't know who Robert is, Robert has a lot of really old, not really old, really odd cars. He's got a Yugo. He's got a Trabant. He's got a lot of things I don't know what they are and never heard of them. But because of that, Robert from Aging Wheels gets the Offbeat / Odd Body Award. Grant, tell us why he's getting those awards.
Yeah, so those are kind of 2 catchphrases, or two phrases I've coined on my channel. Offbeat hot rodding is kind of my tagline, but odd body cars usually, in my mind, refers to OPEC era cars, 73 to 81. However, our friend over there at Aging Wheels, he takes it to the next level, and he goes way off the deep end in those categories. And so he had a Trabant, a Wego, a Yugo, a Hugo, a Rigo, a Igo. I don't know. I can't even keep track of all of his goes, but he's got he's got quite the collection of it. Just really derelict, odd European cars, and we loved every second of it.
So that moves us on to the next award. Grant, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so VCore showed up next, and of course his gig is all about auto body repair, kind of collision, like finding the cars that were wrecked, salvage titles, and turning them back into streetable, drivable daily drivers for people. And so we're handing out to him, and I use the word hand, pun intended. We're handing out to him best use of Universal Tool Award, because that's kind of his thing when it comes down to it, and he needs that last little push. It's often these guys that are doing the work, not an actual tool. So the Universal Tool Award goes to our friend Scott at VCore.
Yeah, and we felt the need, or I felt the need, that a second award needed to be given to Scott simply because of his "I don't give a shit" attitude on the channel, and how he just has this nonchalantness about him when it comes to addressing the haters or the trolls in the comments. So because of that, Scott is also receiving the "My Give a Damn's Busted" award because he really does not care about what you think of him and how bad you think he's doing on his job. So he takes it with a grain of salt. He's having fun putting these videos out. It's quite comical to listen to his passive aggressiveness and his sarcasm, which is kind of my 2 second languages. And that's why I kind of got attracted to his channel, was because of the sarcasm. So congratulations, Scott, on those 2 awards. Grant, I'm going to let you take away the next one, because I do see her in the chat. So because she was on your channel.
Yeah, we'll wrap up the awards tonight with handing out the Whiskey Tango Fox Body Award to Lala Fox 92, because it's kind of, if you haven't seen her latest upload, there was definitely a Whiskey Tango Fox Body moment for her and what she's gone through building her 92 Ford Mustang Fox Body notchback. And we really enjoyed our conversation last week with Lala. And if you haven't checked out her channel, I know Melissa just dropped her link in the chat. So go ahead and head on over to Lala Fox 92 and check out her beautiful silver 92 Arrow Nose Fox Body.
And there you have it, guys. There is season 7 award show. If you are a guest and you're in the chat, thank you so much for being here. If you're not making it and you're watching it in the after show, congratulations either way on your awards. We just do this for fun, mostly as a filler, because we never come prepared for a show, but it's always a great way to end the season, have a little bit of fun, kind of recap some of the fun, exciting topics and guests that we had, and just gives us an opportunity to give back a little bit. Grant, speaking of giving back.
Yes.
Take it away.
Well, as you know, we have we'll call it a rewards program here on the CARRGUY SixFan Show. We take note of everybody who's generous with their money, with their financial funds. You just throw money our way, and we're like, that's awkward, that's weird. So we take note of that, and we kind of inventory it. And at the end of the season, we'll typically do kind of a rewards program. We'll pick one special person from the season, and we'll kind of give back to our community for their generosity. And so for me, this season, I think I speak for Jason when I say, was a little light on that. So typically we do a more randomized selection of this, but I think this given season, it's kind of hard to ignore the stats. And so everything is Broken Garage. Reach out to me via Instagram, via email. I know we've exchanged conversations both ways, but I'll let you pick a t-shirt of your choice from my Spreadshirt store. And I appreciate the amount of times you gave this season. Oh, and look, there's Turlo's Garage adding in a super chat right at the last minute. So Jason might have a little more tough decision, but go ahead and reach out, and we'll get you a t-shirt from my Spreadshirt store of your choice sent your way.
Yeah, and it's very reciprocal over here. Ryan from Everything's Broken Garage has been the biggest donor of super chats on my channel when we've hosted it over here as well. So it was kind of it was very coincidental that we both thought of doing the same thing. So Ryan, you're also going to be getting an Old Car Guy shirt of your choice. So again, just reach out to me and we'll make sure that we get that to you over in Newfoundland. And we really appreciate those super chats. Also, Turlo's Garage, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. And I seen something up there. I forget who asked it, but they had said, can we put all the channels in the description? Yes, I will do that tomorrow. I'll go back and I'll put all the channels in the description with their links. So if you want to go check them out, see if they are for you, and you want to subscribe, go ahead and do that. That's kind of what we're all about, is kind of spreading out these other channels, some of these smaller channels, and kind of rewarding them with some new traffic heading their way. So Ryan, thank you so much for being a part of our show. You're generally one of the first ones always in the chat, and fairly free with those millions of Canadian dollars that you have tucked away to share those with us. So thank you so much, and you'll be getting a couple t-shirts, one from me as well as one from Grant. So that's the big giveaway. That's what we do. We try to encourage. We don't want to say we encourage you to give super chats, but we really appreciate when you do, and we want to be able to give back. So thank you so much. With the amount of money that he has spent in super chats on both of our channels this year, certainly could have bought him a t-shirt, but nevertheless, that's what we're doing to help give him back.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is, as we wind things down here, season 7, it's a little sad. It's the end of a season, but it's also a celebration, right? We look back and like, holy cow, because of you guys, we've been able to do this for 7 seasons. And when you think about it that way, it's always hard for Jason and I not to think about where this all started and the reason why we did it. And that was to try to help fellow YouTubers in our automotive niche get that to that. It was adpocalypse time, so we were trying to help everybody get that 4,000 hour watch time. But what seemed to be harder at that time was the 1,000 subscribers, or maybe not harder, but easier. The easier problem to fix, I guess, that we could all offer each other. So, with that being said, we've got 2 channels we wanted to spend some time talking about who are on the threshold of that 1,000 subscriber mark. And so I'll throw one out. Jason, you throw out the other. But I'll start with the little lower count. Forsaken Steel was on Junker Clunkers live right before ours. It was talking about how his goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by Hot Rod Power Tour, and knowing that that's just around the corner. And since this is the end of season 7 and we're going to take 8 weeks off, wanted to give him a chance. I wanted you guys to get a chance to go check out Forsaken Steel and help him. Maybe we can crest 700 tonight for him. We're probably not going to get him to 1,000, but let's get him as close to 1,000 as we can. That Jason, who is even closer to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, so we talked earlier about 815 LSX swaps, and he is so close. I just refreshed my screen, and he is at 936. Melissa, if you're still in the chat, if you could pop up 815 LSX swaps, you guys can follow those links. She's already done Forsaken Steel. I see it up there. Head on over there. Don't just click the subscribe button for the sake of clicking the subscribe button. That's not what this is all about. This is certainly about making sure that if you're going to choose to do so, that you're actually going to watch those videos and watch those channels as a loyal follower, because we want it to be organic. We don't just want people clicking for the sake of getting that sub for them and then never watching another video. Part of growing your channel is making sure that you have the proper people following you, and those are people who are going to follow you and not just click the button and walk away. So pretty interesting content over there. He's got a Mustang, I believe, with an LS in it. So if that doesn't fill your boots, I mean, come on, make sure you check it out. He also participated in the solo B-roll challenge that we hosted last year as well, and put together a pretty decent welding video. Does some pretty good stuff over there. And we thought it would be neat to make sure that we had to put some of these names out there for you guys. And also, if you see a name in the chat, if it looks like it's a car channel, pretty good chance it is. And make sure you're finding them after the show as well, because we're all part of a bigger community, and we all love support. We all like seeing new people show up to our videos and chats.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, YouTube's not gonna like what I'm about to say, but when you have the watch hours there, even if you can't actually watch some of these channels, like I'm pretty busy. I don't hardly watch any YouTube anymore. But being a subscriber for them, getting them to that 1,000, that is support for those people who can get that passive income, who can help their projects move along. And it's not a ton of money out there, but if it's easier to buy that, door hinge repair kit because you're getting money from YouTube and things like that, that's not necessarily direct, but an indirect way of giving support to fellow channels out there trying to make it. So anyway, Jason, we gave out all of the awards, I think, except for maybe one. We forgot to give out an award to Melissa Nunez, who is always in the chat, always helping support, always getting the links out, always doing the things we can't do as we're trying to run the show. And so we really do appreciate that. She is basically de facto producer. So I guess, Melissa, you win the de facto producer award. Thank you again for your support in all of the efforts you've given. It's selfless, and we don't ask you to do it, but you do it anyway. And we just want to let you know we truly do appreciate what you do for us.
Absolutely. And she's not just a moderator here, she's a moderator on several other channels. Nick's Garage was the big one where we found her. And without even having to ask, she volunteered to come over and help us out as well. And it's very much appreciated. I know she knows she's appreciated. She gets it all the time. But it just simply, saying it sometimes just makes it worth a little bit more. So thank you, Melissa. Usually, I think in the past, Grant, we've actually given each other awards in the past. Now, I know I didn't prep you for this, but I didn't think it was wise to do that this year, because I always give you some sort of an absentee award for missing a show, or taking a vacation in the middle of a show, or getting a haircut in the middle of it, something like that. I don't know. But so I'm just going to leave it at that this year, and not poke fun at you for not making a complete season yet. So,
and if it's not one of those things, it's probably about like not being able to figure out a brake system is probably the other thing you would.
Or like 15 videos on a brake job on a car, or
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just like it's a lifetime achievement award at this point. So
lifetime achievement award. So we're getting, where are we? We're at we got some time. So before we move on to find out what's going on each other's channels, I did want to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about the Get Out and Drive podcast, because they are a proud partner with the Car Guy and Six Fan Show, and because of that, we help promote the Car Guy and Six Fan Show through our channels, which aren't always the same channels as the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. So in turn, we want to promote that here. And Grant was recently one of our interviewees, and we had a chance to sit down and talk with Grant, myself, and John Custom Car Nerd Meyer on the Get Out and Drive podcast, which will actually air at the end of May. And I want to spend a little bit of time talking about that, Grant, and a little bit about that experience, because you and I work together here. We're always interviewing somebody else. But we actually had a little bit of time to kind of dive into Grant Tommy and who he is and what he does and how, kind of things roll. So can you just tell the folks a little bit about your experience without going into detail? Because we want them to go over and listen to it. Right?
Yeah, I can certainly dodge that question and answer it at the same time. So, yeah. No, what I realized partially through the episode was thinking back to the days when, before Car Guy and Six Fan Show, I did podcasting for college sports here in America, and there are certain skills you learned through podcasting, and it's the best part about podcasting compared to what we do is you get that chance, in case you just blank on something and there's a long pause, you can always post edit and pull that out. But there were a couple times when John would be asking a question and I could tell like there was going to be a long pause, and it was almost like I knew how to supplement and how to add to that conversation. And so it was kind of fun to be able to dust off some of that skill set and to talk about my experience, my car journey, in my how I got into cars and all that, while also helping move a show along even from the guest chair.
Yeah, I just kind of noticed that Turlo had mentioned or forgot to hit the unmute award. That would have been for me because I usually do that at least once a show. I've been pretty good at it this season. But one of the things, I guess, Grant, about being, we're both used to being the interviewers and kind of knowing some of the questions that we want answered. You and I have been friends for almost 4 years now, maybe. And
Maybe more.
maybe more. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's been a while. It seems like forever. No, I'm kidding. But just simply being on this end of being able to talk to you and get some of those answers, like I learned a few things on that podcast, maybe that I didn't know already. Just the fact that you and I are doing the same thing that we're doing here tonight. So, did you find that being a part of that interview allowed you to speak a little more freely versus what we do here on this show?
Well, I mean, the questions are directed at me, right? Like the whole idea is to get to know the guest. Like that's what we do. So, but yeah, I guess I have never taken a hold of like this platform that we have to talk about myself because that would just be uncomfortable anyway. But yeah, no, it was a really good experience. And the other thing that I heading into the show, I had my doubts about like what we do here. There's always a visual involved, and so I always felt like automotive talk is really hard to do in podcast form because you really kind of always need to see something. Like when we do our legacy episodes, like when we would do the F body competition and things like that. But being in the guest chair on the Get Out and Drive podcast, John does a great job of he is the right personality for the job to create it, and it really is. It made me after my appearance on the show, I went and listened to the show and gained a whole new appreciation for what it means to podcast in the automotive niche.
Yeah, and that is something too that being a part of something that's not visual is there's a little more to it on our part to be able to help describe something or visualize something better for those who are maybe just driving in their car, listening to us, or sitting on an airplane or a bus or wherever they happen to be listening to the podcast. And I started listening to a few different podcasts to get some ideas on how we can kind of spice things up a little bit and have some more interaction, not just with our guests, but with each other, and have some fun that people who are listening are going to want to continue to listen to. And I think that moving forward with our show here on the Car Guy and Six Fan Show, because it is visual, I think we need some of those clown horns, honk honk. Yeah, exactly, to have some fun, and kind of move forward with this too, because we've chosen, because I'm a co-host of that podcast, we've chosen to be a part of that with the Car Guy and Six Fan Show, to be powered by, so to speak, the Get Out and Drive podcast, because we want to help each other grow. We want to help each other gain an audience and be a part of the automotive community that people might not be catching. So doing that with you and doing that with John, it's a great experience for me because I had never had anything as far as experience goes with interviewing or the visual interviewing like we do here or over there, like the two of you had beforehand. So thank you for getting me into the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. John, thank you, because I know you're in the chat, for inviting me to be a part of the Get Out and Drive podcast and partnering with us over here with Grant and I, because I think that at the end of the day, it's going to help grow both communities. And I'm having a blast. I really am. And thanks, Grant, for being a guest on our podcast.
Oh no, I think I lost a hair of bandwidth there for a second because your voice slowed way down, Jason. But I think we're back on my end. Yeah, there we go. So, I normally this is the part of the show where we talk about what's kind of peek behind the curtains, what's coming up on our channels. I think instead of doing that, literally, Jason, let's do a peek behind the curtains and talk a little bit about what we think season 8, the kind of the face it wants to take on, what we're thinking, kind of pitch it to our crowd, see if it's something they'd be interested in, and we'll kind of take it from there, kind of crowdsource this a little bit, and because if we're way off, then maybe we don't do it. But I think what we have planned for season 8, or what we're thinking, will be enticing for the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what we kind of had pitched to each other, I guess I pitched to Grant and he said, well, I was thinking about doing that later on, but maybe now is the time to start bringing back some of our either most popular guests and or our most favorite guests that we had. So we pitched to each other to throw, a top 10. And I even went further and said, okay, well, I'm going to do a top 10, but I'm going to go 5 of my heartfelt, most favorite guests that we had on the show. And then over here in this category, I'm going to go and I'm going to say, okay, 5 of the top viewed guests that we had, to see if we can get some of these names back. They're not all big channels either, guys. You will be surprised at the difference that Grant and I had between some of these people of who we wanted to have. So we felt out of the last, I think, if my math is correct, of the last 5 seasons that we've been doing guests, that equates to well over 50 different guests to choose from, to see who we liked, who you liked based on the views, and see if we could get them back. So that is something that we want to pitch to you guys. Is there a favorite guest that we've had in the past that you may want to see again? If so, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Grant, am I missing anything from that?
Well, no, other than we're just kind of calling it our greatest hits tour, right? Like it's the we're kind of has-beens now in our band life, so we need to like go dust off some of the classics and play Freebird a couple times and get you guys wound up. So yeah, just curious if you guys think if you'd be interested in, you've already seen them once, but what happens if you see them a second time? Is that good, or is that bad for you guys?
Well, and Jason Rock has asked, is Nick on that list? So Nick Panaritas from Nick's Garage. He is on my list, and simply because of a couple of reasons. Is one, we had great interaction. 2, he told awesome stories. We could have talked for hours on that episode, but because we do limit ourselves based on the length of our show. But the other reason is because I've met him in person, and I've met the person that Nick is. So I told you before about the heartfelt and the response from you guys list that we have, and Nick is he fits into both of those categories. So I will reach out to George and Nick to see if we can get Nick back to just simply sit back with us and tell a few more stories, because I think somebody who's been doing this for, I think by his own account, 50 years plus, has a lot to tell. And there's a lot of knowledge in there, not just on the Mopars that we see on his channel, but on everything. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity to see and get more out of people. We have had, Everything is Broken Garage, just put it up there. I was just going to list off some of the names. We have had Rich from DeBoss Garage. We have had Junkyard Digs. We've also had Derek from Vice Grip Garage. If you guys want to see us reach out to these guys again, then we certainly will, because every single one of those guys is on this list somewhere along the way. So we want to make sure that we have an opportunity, not just to get the big names. Yeah, they bring the views, but you know what? To date, I think one of my most favorite interviews was Ellie's Garage. And at the time, she was less than 1,000 subscribers. She's over that now. But again, we talked about it with Spider Garage, with the father and son. Well, Ellie's Garage is a father-daughter combination, and I still think that's one of my favorite episodes. I don't know about you, Grant, but maybe there's some insight you can shed on this too.
No, I agree. Her episode was I think all time in a top, dare I say, top 5 category. I think from all the episodes we've done here on Car Guy and Six Fan Show. So I'd agree with you there. And the other thing is, so if you're relatively new to Car Guy and Six Fan Show, the way this works out is we're 18 weeks on, 8 weeks off, 18 weeks on, 8 weeks off. that gets us the whole year. So, and we sprinkle in some legacy episodes, which is just like tonight, Jason and I talking. We usually kick off the season that way. We usually end the season that way, and there's 2 in the middle just to give us a buffer for if a guest doesn't show up or things like that. So that's 14 interviews. So that's maybe when Jason and I compare our top 10 lists, that's a top 7 in each of those categories, like top 7 entertainment, top 7, just flat out most viewed. And I think we can come up with a really great lineup doing that.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing some new names jump in there too. What did I see? Country Boy Gas Garage. We'd love to have Jason over. He's got a great story to tell. Thunderhead 289, very knowledgeable on carburetors and such. I don't think, and again, this is all going to depend on whether these people agree to come back and be a part. There is no guarantee, but at the end of the day, we are going to start. And I think that even though we're going to be off for 8 weeks, we're going to start almost probably right away reaching out to these folks. Some of them are in the chat tonight to say whether or not they really want to be back if they have time. I know like some of the bigger names, Junkyard Digs, Vice Grip Garage, DeBoss Garage, a lot of these guys, they are big channels and they do have huge commitments and deadlines for different things. I don't expect them to drop everything for us. They did it once, but it might be too much to ask them, but nevertheless, we're going to put the ask out there. So if there's some names that you saw or that you heard tonight or some that you didn't, reach out to us, DM us on Instagram or wherever you find us. And, if there's somebody that you want us to see interview, we'll do our best to try and get some of those. We're going to kind of concentrate for season 8 on the reboot, so to speak, but who knows? Maybe there might be a new one in there somewhere.
And I know I see Thunderhead 289 being suggested more than once in the chat. And I did just want to say, we haven't officially ever reached out to him. I don't think. Maybe you have, Jason, but
I did. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, we've kind of been told one way or the other. I don't really like doing.
He doesn't
that.
like to be interviewed.
So hate to burst your bubble there, but there's some social skills there that he just does not feel comfortable doing interviews. So, which, I mean, that makes sense. We're pretty uncomfortable interviewers, right, Jason? So we ask some really awkward, uncomfortable questions on this show. But yeah, just want to let you know, don't hold your breath for that interview. I don't see that one coming anytime soon on this show. And it is what it is. It's not a bad deal. It just is what it is.
So before we end things off, we're getting close to our time. We do have a very special date put together for season 8 where somebody might be going to visit the other somebody, and we may have Grant and I physically in the same room doing the Car Guy and Six Fan Show at some point in season 8. So stay tuned for that, guys. It's something that we've talked about for a long time on trying to make this happen. And it sounds like things are coming together for that. So I think I can speak for Grant to say that we're both pretty excited to finally meet each other in person and, kick back, have a brew and, have a great show for you guys. So.
Yeah, I really want to let the cat out of the bag further, but we'll leave it at that, Jason.
Absolutely. So having said all of that, we do appreciate everybody being a part of the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. We appreciate all the suggestions on the people who you want to see, because that is what it's all about. We want to do for you guys, because without your suggestions and input, we wouldn't have a show. So thank you so much for being a part of this, for allowing us into your garage, your living room, wherever you're watching us, and allowing us to entertain and help grow a few channels, help get the names out there, bring some great interviews to you, and have some fun in the meantime. So I'm going to let Grant sign off on this, and I thank everybody for being a part, and we hope to see you all real soon in season 8, which will take place the first Thursday after July 4th.
Yeah, I did just want to take a second to say thank you to every single person who's made an attempt to watch the Car Guy and Six Fan Show, whether that's live or that's after the fact. If you spent more than 3 seconds consuming this content, we truly do thank you. It's again, it's something that Jason and I take a lot of pride in. We've built this over now 7 seasons, going on 8 shortly. That's roughly 4 years. Couldn't do it without everybody in the chat, all the viewers. So we do appreciate that. So let's take 8 weeks off, and we'll see you guys, as he said, first Thursday after the 4th of July. And to all of my Six fans out there, thanks for watching.